pressure and tension, enlightened life. All conscious people anticipate something good, something beautiful in life. It is the new that is coming. It is already in the air, and everyone can feel it. The new permeates the entire life. All speak of it. This expectation of the new is good, but everyone should know the way in which the expected will come. This is precisely what people don't know. Sometimes people want to receive what they expect without making any efforts. Where could the new come from? Is it from nature? It is true that intelligent nature helps people to acquire all blessings. Yes, all blessings they strive for, but they must work solely to achieve them. When people come to know the forces that are at work inside and outside of them, they will be able to balance and use them for constructive purposes and creativity in life. On the physical plane, one of the person's tasks is to deal with external physical pressure. As a countering of this pressure is the internal tension. In general, the force of attraction is related to pressure, while the force of repulsion has to do with tension. When external pressure and internal tension in a person are balanced, one feels healthy, happy, and strong. If external pressure is greater than the internal tension, one hardens and becomes rigid. Then if internal tension is greater than the external pressure, it puts one in an unnatural state. Thus, a person is under the influence of two forces. One is outside pressure, and the other is tension from within. If someone is solely under the influence of these two forces, that person would be in a great difficulty and could never be self-motivated. Thanks to another intelligent force that operates both from outside and from within, pressure and tension in the human beings are regulated, and a person can take initiative, manifesting a conscious life in the three worlds: physical, spiritual, and divine. Here's a picture that shows the forces moving in a clockwise manner. And the figure shows a square surrounded by three circles representing the three worlds. The physical and spiritual worlds are not yet perfect. So A2 and A3 are not perfect circles, but ellipses. The drawing is a simple sketch of the three worlds, in the same way as an engineer can understand a blueprint and can bring it to realization. Every enlightened person can read and understand the sketches of nature. Someone may think that nature's drafts are insignificant, abstract, and they are not interesting. Misunderstood works. So misunderstood works are not interesting indeed. while the understood ones are. But whether we are interested or not in nature's works, we are forced to study them. Learning is a necessity for us to be able to cope with the tasks that life brings us. It is on the earth that one has conditions. And opportunities for the development. The human body is the first condition that is given to the student of life. So the body is a building, a school, or a university in which the student is placed to study. Sometimes students think that the university is their property and professors are their friends. Such friendship can only exist when a student studies diligently. Otherwise, it cannot exist because the professor will return his back on the bad student and will continue his way. When the student learns well, then the professor also teaches well. It is quiet and natural process. The student might also want to know more about the university, who built it, how they did it, who the professors were in the past, and so on. These are questions that should not interest you. These are the questions that should not interest you. Many people of today do not want to study the sciences that are taught in life, but ask who has created the world and in what way. These questions are important, but they are not essential to the student of life. One should first learn to perceive the knowledge that is taught and then apply it. Everyone comes to earth with some inner knowledge, but it is not enough. One student should be open. Everyone comes to earth with some inner knowledge, but it is not enough. One should be open and prepared to receive the new knowledge that is coming at any given moment. People need to move in alignment with the new because everything in the world is subject to constant and continuous progress. What is important for every person nowadays is to study life in three aspects: life as a science, life as an art, and life as a force, realizing that they study in the great university of earth. One after the other, professors come and teach their lessons. You understand some of them, but not all. Why? It is because they speak in three different languages: physical, spiritual, and divine. Physical life is taught in a physical language, spiritual life in a spiritual language, and divine life in the divine language. Therefore, if you want to study life well, you should know all those three languages: the physical, the spiritual, and the divine. So in some aspects, human life is a combination of a plethora of things that pushes us into a dimension where human life is lived through a complex set of rules. Those rules are determined by the society. We call it society is a collection of human beings or human consciousness coming together in order to create something that unites humanity, the essence of humanity, in a form that is understandable for everyone, and it creates a mechanism or a mechanical system that helps the humanity to operate and move
within the community. I hope that makes sense. It's not that complex, yet it is complex. So, society is the norms that are made optimal and practical by the humans living in a certain vicinity. Now, the entire world is a global community, so the society or the movement of the society is not as prevalent um, as compared to what it was in the past when one society operated differently as compared to the others. The recent example would be the Dark Ages and the Golden Age and the Mongols, the Mongol invasion of the 13th century. That is something we humans have to study in order to understand the differences of societies, not as collective, as individuals. And then there will be a common thread that ran through all the societies, creating a community, a worldwide community, which in return created a worldwide society. The biggest example in the recent past, it will be the creation of United Nations. Prior to that, Napoleon almost. Prior to that, the Rashidun Caliphate. Prior to that, Alexander the Great almost. So these are the things that created the society as we know, because the ruling of the governing administration or the governing party was stretched across different horizons, from east to the west, from north to the south. That's why the collective consciousness of the humans living at the era became a communal society, or the societal dynamics of that era. From that, fast forward it to today, we are still operating on the three fundamental units that we have just discussed in this section of the book reading. So we're going to carry on with more. Stay tuned.